Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Did you get the access to those programs? Yesterday, I uploaded those programs, right? So did you get the access to that programs? What happened to you guys? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Did you get access to those programs?
No, sir.
No, you have. Did you check the drive link at least?
No, sir. Check.
Sir, I hate it here.
You got it, right?
I didn't do any program there.
Okay. Uh-huh.
but I have practiced.
Shows the file type is unsupported.
The files are in unsupported format.
File type, sir.
File size.
File type is unsupported.
If you open through zip folder, it will show the same thing. You have to download it and then you have to open it through Notepad because those are Java files, no?
Sir, files are opening, sir.
So that means few have accessed that link, few doesn't looked into that link, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If you use zip file means it is opening, sir.
What is that requirement?
Zip file, sir.
Zip file?
Yes, sir.
It's a zip file only. If you are trying to open that zip file through Drive, the files will not be accessible. You have to download that zip file to your system and then you have to open it through Notepad. Through Notepad or Notepad++. Only 3 to 4 people, Madhavi, Konanki, Chandu, only these guys only access that link. What about the remaining people? Can we stop the session? If no one is responding, why we need to have this session?
No, sir, it's opening, sir.
We have access to the link, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
it's a simple straightforward point, guys. So I have uploaded that to Drive. You have that Drive access. I'm just checking with you whether you are able to access that Drive link or not. Because if you are able to access it, you'll be able to download that as well. At least if you try that, you'll have that answer. If no one is responding, means what we can consider. It's very important. That's what I said from day one. Programmatic part is very important for your practice. If you are not able to practice, don't follow. It's waste of your time. I sincerely saying this point because at the end of the day, automation, practice, then only you'll get the output and you'll be able to attend the interview with very 100% confidence. I cannot even say 100%, at least 50% confidence, because there are a lot of things. It's not a simple concept that we can complete it on a daily basis. It is like an ocean. The subject is like an ocean. It's a very vast subject. My training in this will be helpful for you to guide how to follow that process. That's it. Rest of the conceptualization and everything, you have to grab it through your practice only.
Okay, sir.
At least spend, I'm just saying, like, don't spend like 3 hours or 4 hours, just 30 to 40 minutes. That's it. You'll come to know what is happening in that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
After the session or before you go to sleep, you can just randomly check whether you have that access or not. Okay, if you don't have access, immediately send out a message to your lead or Jyoti saying like, okay, I am trying to access this one, I'm trying to download this one, but I'm not able to do that. If you can intimate, at least you would have that answer.
It's opening, sir, actually.
Then so today I'll start with one more concept called I'm just thinking about if it can be advanced until you get practice into that, but still I just want to tell you a few basic things about loops, arrays, and all this kind of stuff. Method overriding I haven't explained. I'll explain it later because you have to get more details on other areas as well. So we will discuss about that. So let me share my screen. I think my screen is visible to you.
Sir.
Okay. Fine. So yesterday we discussed about these modifiers concept, and anyone have any questions from yesterday's session regarding modifiers or any other points that we discussed? First, we'll solve that queries and then we'll move forward. Okay, if you don't have, then we'll move forward. First, I'll discuss about the project creation hierarchy, and then I'll go with loops related to whatever the loops concept that we are going to have. We will discuss about that loops, arrays, and all. Okay. Let me get into the hierarchy. What is mean by hierarchy? Yesterday we created a project, right? So what you have observed, what is the hierarchy? What is the first step after creating the project that we are going to have? Anyone?
What do we have to do?
First we have
Execution point is called as hierarchy, sir, I think.
execution point. Okay. Let me tell you. So first we, under the Eclipse, we have workspace. Okay, what is mean by workspace?
The area where we can write the code.
Okay. Any other inputs?
Yeah, memory storage.
Yes. So the area where we can write the code is not perfectly suitable. The place where we can store our programs or code is nothing but workspace, because in workspace we are not writing the code, we are just storing it. Writing the code is in editor, Eclipse IDE editor, that will be saved in a storage location which is called workspace. So once your workspace is ready, you need to create a project. Okay, inside the project, you need to create package. Inside package, you can create folder if required. If required. Inside folder, you can create class. Inside class, what we can create? What we can create inside the class? What is meant by class?
Of objects.
Group of objects, sir.
Then what we can create inside the class?
Objects.
It's a
Objects.
simple. Objects, methods. So all these things we are going to create here. So it's a general hierarchy. If you are not going to create a folder, nothing will happen. But if it is required, if you want to maintain that separately, then folder creation is mandatory. Okay. And second thing is package creation. So maybe in automation, I'll explain you more about this package creation. What is the naming convention that you have to use, and how this package can be stored in your local system in the workspace. So how it is going to display all these things, I'll explain you in the automation. But just keep in mind that inside the Eclipse, when you create a project, package should be there. And package, it should not be a single package. You can create n number of packages as required. So inside the package, you can create a folders. Even if you are not going to create a folders, you can create the class directly. Inside the class, objects and methods will be created. What is meant by method? What is meant by method?
It is a piece of code.
Piece of code.
Piece of code. We can use the platform to specific task.
Okay. Any other? Yes. Anyone else? Yeah. A piece of code which can be used to perform the specific task is nothing but method. So inside method, we have seen how to create a method, and how we have used static method, and how we have used non-static method. All these things you have already observed. Right? So how to create, what is the difference between static and non-static method or variable? What is the difference?
Objects, sir. Static method is not created objects. Non-static is object created.
Okay, static variables are created with
Object.
Static keyword.
Non-static
Module
variables
of
are created
creating
by
Non-static is object
object
created,
here.
sir.
okay. Non-static variables are created with object. Okay.
Non-static object is not created objects.
Okay. Maybe your point is correct, but you have to redefine that. Static variables are created with static keywords. Non-static variables are not going to use static keyword. First point. Second point, static variables can be called or declared directly. Non-static variables are going to call by using object. Right? Non-static variables cannot create by using object. We are not talking about the creation. Non-static variables can be created, but if you want to call that variable, then you need to have object. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So calling is different, creation is different. Just make use of that difference. Okay. So how to make use of that difference and all you need to understand. Okay, as we are discussing about this object class and all, first we need to understand this one: object, class, method, how we have created, and what is meant by static and what is meant by non-static, and how this can be used. So all these things we need to understand. Then you'll be able to understand how this program can be designed, and what is the purpose of having this program and all you'll be able to understand. Okay, now we'll discuss about loops. What is meant by loop?
Closed paths.
What is that?
Closed path.
Closed path. Okay. If it is open loop, we have a concept called open loop also. What is that means?
Continuous and iterative statements.
Continue.
And iterative statements.
Continue and iterative statements. Okay. Any other?
Same process doing again and again.
Same process doing again and again. Okay. Yeah, maybe the same process doing again and again, iteration, all these definitions are suitable. Here, there is no specific concept of closed loop or open loop or something. At the end of the day, what is meant by loop here, if you are going to define, means loop is nothing but it keeps on executing until the condition gets failed. It's a iterative kind of thing which keeps on executing. The program, I can say the program or method which keeps on executing until the condition gets failed. Until the condition gets failed. If condition fails, it will come out of that loop and it will end the program. It's a simple logic. Loop means iterative. Basic definition of loop means iterative. Technically, when we are talking about in a programmatic view, then we can say it keeps on executing until the condition gets failed. What is meant by condition? What do you mean by condition?
The required block of code for a particular execution.
Required block of code for a particular execution. Okay. Any other inputs? Anyone
These
else?
conditions are specified by set of in conditional statements, like based on creation conditions.
Okay. Fine. Condition is nothing but it's a whatever the required kind of program that you want to execute based on your requirement. So it has to be executed. Whatever the definitions that you said, both are correct. So that means it will wait until the condition gets passed. Once the condition is filled, automatically it will come out of that loop and it will continue with the program execution. So nothing much details or definitions or theory about loop, but we have three types of loops. One is for loop. We have 3 or 4. Okay, while loop, and we have do while loop, and we have for each loop. For loop, while loop, do while loop, for each loop. So how each and every loop works in the real time? How can we design a program, and how can we understand a program? So how it works in the real time? Let's see one by one. I'll talk about for loop first. Okay. For loop, the syntax for loop is for initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement operator, whichever is required for you. Whichever is required for you, you can use, whether it can be increment operator or decrement operator. So how this can be defined? What is meant by initialization? What is meant by condition? And what is meant by increment or decrement operator? Let's see in one of the example so that you will be able to understand what is initialization, what is condition, and what is meant by increment or decrement operator. I'm creating one program. I'm just creating it in a second package. I'm creating with the name called for example. Okay. So what is the syntax that we have written for loop? It's a for initialization, right? I'm just directly writing the for loop here. For initialization. What is meant by initialization? Means initializing the value, like originating the value, starting point of your program, starting point of your loop. You have to give that starting point. Ending point means when condition gets filled, that will be the ending point. Until the condition gets passed, it keeps on iterating, it keeps on iterating, it keeps on iterating again and again and again, and it is executing again and again. If condition failed, it will come out of that loop and it will break the program. That means it will come out of that program. But without giving that initial value, without giving that origin value, without giving that initialization value, how the program can be able to understand what is the starting point and what is the condition that it has to execute and what is the increment or decrement, right? On what basis the value has to be increased? It doesn't know, right? So that's one of the main reason. Initialization is nothing but the starting point where you need to kick off the loop, where you need to start the loop. So I want to print the numbers from 1 to 100 in the output. I want to print the numbers from 1 to 100 in the output. So if I want to see the numbers from 1 to 100 in the output, what is the initial value?
1, sir.
Yeah, as I said, 1 to 100 means what is the initial value is 1. So 1 is a number. So if you want to define, if you want to create a variable for that number, integer is the data type, int a is equals to 1. This is the initialization. And condition, what is the maximum number that I said?
100.
100. A less than or equals to 100. A less than or equals to 100. That means I'll let you know how it executes in the backend. Now, initial value is 1. Initial value is 1. So first it will come here and it will set the value of A is equals to 1 and it will verify the condition. 1 is less than or equals to 100. Is it correct or wrong? It is correct. Obviously 1 is less than 100. As 1 is less than 100, it will it will print the value. First, it will print the value. I'm just writing the print statement as well. If you are not going to write, it will not do anything. I'm just giving print first, and then I'll show you how to give println. Okay. So first it will set the value of a is equals to 1, and then it will validate the condition a less than or equals to 100. If a less than or equals to 100, condition passed. After condition gets passed, it will come here. It will come here and print the value of a, and then it will increase the value. 1 has to increase to 2. That means in order to increase the value, I need to give this plus symbol for 2 times, a plus plus. Value will be increased to 2. Again, it will validate the condition 2 less than or equals to 100. Condition passed. It will print the value. Again, it will increase the value 3 less than, 4 less than, 5 up to 100. 100 less than or equals to 100. It will validate the condition. Yes, it is passed, and it will print the value. Once 100 increased to 101, now the value of a is 101. Now the value of a is 101. 101 less than or equals to 100. Condition passed or failed?
False.
Failed. Now it will be passed, man. 101 less than or equals to 100. Is it less than?
Fail.
It will be failed. Once it failed, it will come out of the loop and it will end the program. So if you are confused with this many numbers, you can just mark it with 10. Okay. Let's execute this program and you can see the output here. See, the values are 1, the values are 2, the values are 3, the values are 4. It keeps on iterating. If you do not want to see this one, okay. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you want to print it in a different row, you can make use of print ln. Numbers in a number format. Now, I want you to print the numbers from 10 to 1. What can be the change in this for loop?
Using decrement operator.
What is that?
Decrement operator.
Okay, decrement operator. Any other changes?
We take a is equal to 10.
Okay. Then that's it. If I execute the program, will it get executed?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Then what would be the change that I have to make?
A greater than or equal to 1.
Exactly. Now it will get executed. Right? Everything will be in the hands of these 3. Your complete execution will be in the hands of these 3 parameters what you are passing here. Initialization, condition, increment or decrement operator. If you are trying to print this value and if you have given a plus plus, nothing will come. It's called infinite loop, we can say. Right? There is no use of that. So what is our exact initialization value? What is our exact condition? What is the respective increment or decrement operator that we have to use? Make sure you are going to use the same thing. Right? Any questions?
No,
No, sir.
So this is a number. We print the numbers from 1 to 100 and this is a number. If we want to print a string or if we want to print a value, then here a is equals to 10. Suppose if I'm going to change as is, okay. See how many times it will print.
Okay, it's 10 times print.
It will print for 10 times because the loop has executed. This loop has executed for 10 times. 11th time when the value of a has increased to 11 and 11 less than or equals to 10 condition failed, it will come out of that loop and it will come out of the program. That means until that 10 times of iteration, 10 times of loop, it keeps on executing this one and it is displaying this string, whatever the output statement that we have given. But if you want to validate a specific string or if you want to validate some specific action, okay, if you want to validate some specific action, what we can do? If you want to validate some specific action, what we can do? So my question here is, suppose I'm going to give int x is equals to 0. Int x is equals to 0. So this is the word. Int x is equals to 0. Now I'm going to give this one. X is equals to x plus a. X is equals to x plus a. And I want to print one second. Okay. So if you can observe here, initially I have given one value, x is equals to 0. And from for loop, I have initialized a condition with a is equals to 1 and a less than or equals to 10 is the condition that I have given, and a plus plus increment operator that I have given. But I want to store x is equals to x plus a. That means initially the value of a is 1. Initially the value of a is 1. Now x is equals to x plus a. That means x is equals to what is x? 0. 0 plus 1. That means the value of, even you can change this variable. Y, you can, instead of having this all this confusion, you can mark it as y. Int y is equals to x plus a. What happened to this? Okay, here. Yeah, I understand the issue. I'll fix it. So initially the value of x is 0. X is equals to 0 plus 1. That means x is equals to 0 plus 1 means 1. And we are going to print the value of 1 in the output. And then, and we are going to have the 1. And then it will, we are going to have the 1, but it will not print because we ended the brackets here. What will happen? Again, the value of a will be increment to 2. Now the x value is 1. And then 1 plus 2, 3. Increments to 2. 3 plus 2. 4 plus 2. 5. And it keeps on increasing that value. At the end of the condition, condition failed, whatever the condition that we have passed, at the end of this condition execution, the value of x will be 55. So once it comes out of the loop after condition gets failed, it will display the value of addition is equals to 55. Suppose, if you keep this here, let's see what is going to happen. Understood? If you keep this print statement inside the loop, it will print every value. If you keep that statement, output statement, print statement outside the loop, it will display only the final output.
Sir, once again explain.
Okay, which one? Print statement. I think your voice is breaking. I don't know whether it is from my end.
Yes, sir.
I didn't understand it.
Okay, you want me to explain how this print statement works?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. See, print statement always depending on your hierarchy. Okay, so hierarchy means, let's say initially what I did, I just removed this. I'm just removing this one. I'm going to place the print statement out of the loop. This is the loop. Basically, these two steps are the loop. 9, 10, 11. Okay. What is going to happen? Initial value of x is 0. Initial value of x is 0. And now when for loop got initialized, a is equals to 1, 1 less than or equals to 100, condition passed. Once the condition passed, it comes here. What is going to happen? Already the x value is 0. 0 plus 1, what is the value output? 1. Right? That means x is equals to 1. Do we have any print statement after this in the line number 11?
No, sir.
We don't have. Inside the loop, we don't have print statement. So that's the reason it won't print anything. Immediately after x is equals to 0 plus 1, immediately after increase the value of a, 1 becomes 2. 1 becomes 2. Already x is 1. 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. Again, there is no print statement. Value will be increased to 3 here. 3 plus 3, 6. Value will be increased to 4. 6 plus 4, 10. Value will be increased to 5. 10 plus 5, 15. Like this, it keeps on executing this loop again and again and again. Okay. Once the value of a is equals to 11, 11 less than or equals to 10. Condition passed or failed? Condition failed. It will come out of this loop and it will print this statement. By that time when it comes here, the value of x is 55. So that's the reason when your print statement is out of the loop, directly it is displaying addition is equals to 55. It will not display other numbers what it has added. Right? Suppose if I want to print the output for each and every iteration, each and every loop, this loop executes for 10 times, right? Because a is less than or equals to 10. It will execute for 10 times. I want to see the output for 10 times. Then you need to have this print statement inside the loop. If you keep it inside the loop, what is going to happen? This particular execution is going to happen 10 times. At the same time, print statement will execute 10 times because it is inside the loop. Got it?
Okay, sir, I can understand.
Yes. If the print statement is inside the loop, then the execution process will be different. If print statement is outside the loop, the execution process will be different. If print statement is outside the loop, then final output will be displayed. If print statement is inside the loop, then each and every step will be printed in the console, in the output. Any other questions? Any questions?
No.
Okay. Then we have another example where it is nothing but interview point of view question. This is the one. Okay. So the question will be like this. There is no concept of initialization first point. Okay. There is no concept of condition. There is no concept of increment or decrement operator. There is no concept of increment or decrement operator. If we are going to define it like this, then we can call it as a infinite loop. Okay. If you execute this program, it keeps on executing. That's it. It keeps on executing. There is no ending for this point because you haven't initialized the value, you haven't given the condition, you haven't given any of the increment or decrement operator, nothing is there. Right? Until you stop it, it keeps on executing. Understood? So interviewer will ask you, if you are going to give for and 2 semicolons, what is this meaning? This means it's an infinite loop. You can call it as a infinite loop. So any questions? If you don't have, then we'll go to while loop. Let's see how while loop work. How this while loop works in the real time. Okay. Now, so as we have seen the syntax for loop, which is nothing but initialization, condition, and increment or decrement operator. For while loop also there is a syntax. What is that syntax? While, condition, and this is the program.
One is increment, sir.
Sorry, what is that?
This while loop, the last one is increment or decrement. Syntax,
Okay.
syntax.
Here you are saying whatever wherever the cursor that you are saying, here you are saying increment or decrement.
Okay. Okay.
So while loop, initially it starts with the condition. If condition gets passed, then it will enter into this program. If condition is failed in the initial step itself, it will never enter into this loop, and it will come out of the loop and it will exit from the program. Simple concept is condition passed, then enter into the program. If condition failed, don't enter into the program, exit from here. So we'll see some random example, how it is going to display. Even if you want to give, you can give here. Initialization, and then it will start validate the condition and then increment or decrement operator. Now in the program, I'm going to initialize the value. Int x is equals to 0. I'll start with the initial value as 0. Now I'm going to use this in a while loop, while x less than 10, less than or equals to whatever the value that you want to use, you can make use of it. System.out.println, I'm going to print the value x. I'm going to print the value x and then x plus plus. If you execute this, you can see the value 0 to 9 because the initialization value I have given is 0. If you can give 1, then the number starts from 1 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 9, because here you have given less than. If you can give equals to, then it will display 1 to 10. So based on the condition, it is going to validate. Suppose if you are going to give greater than, what is going to happen? See, nothing will come in the output because the condition itself is failed, and you just have initialized the value. So the condition is failed, there is no print statement, there is no increment or decrement operator, nothing is going to happen. So if condition gets failed. This is a while loop program. Even if you want to print some text, you can do the same thing. You can do the same process. And earlier we have seen one example, right? If it is print statement is inside the loop, what is going to happen, and outside the loop, what is going to happen? The same example we can see for while loop also. Suppose here I have defined int x is equals to 1, and then I want to define another variable, int a is equals to 0. I can give. I'll start with 0 because from less number we can, at least we'll be able to understand. Okay, here x less than or equals to 10 I have already given, which is nothing but a is equals to a plus x. Again I am giving a is equals to a plus x. Instead of a, okay, instead of a we can use any other variable. A is equals to a plus x and x plus plus. Suppose if I am not giving this print statement here, and I'm going to give the print statement out of the loop, instead of a we need to give, sorry, instead of x we need to give a here. Outside the loop, see how the output is going to display. Just 55. Suppose if I'm going to give inside the loop, like this it is going to display. Suppose if I'm going to give like this, same process. Understood? Where you are giving inside the loop or outside the loop matters here. Understand? Any questions?
Can you repeat once?
Sorry,
And
what is that?
repeat once again, sir.
Your voice is breaking. I'm not able to listen it clearly.
Can you repeat once again, sir?
Okay, it is same as for loop. There is no difference between for loop. Same as for loop in the sense the declaration will be different. In for loop, you are going to define initialization, condition, and increment or decrement operator at the same step. But in while loop, the difference is initialization you are going to perform, and then while condition you are going to give. If condition gets passed, it will enter into the loop. If condition is failed, it will not execute any kind of loop here. Second thing, whenever we are giving basic validation, whenever we are giving basic condition validation, it will validate the condition and it will enter into the loop and it will print the statement. But print statement is inside the loop or outside the loop matters here. Again, the same point. If print statement is inside the loop, each and every action is going to print like this, what you are seeing. If print statement is outside the loop, that means if you are going to keep this print statement outside the loop, whatever the process it is going to happen, it is going to, it will complete all the process and the final output will be sent to this print statement. So that's the reason if it is outside the loop, when you execute this, you can see only the final number. You can see only the final number. If you want to see each and every step output, then the print statement should be inside the loop. Okay. So one assignment for you. What is mean by do while loop and how the syntax of do while loop represents? Okay. How we can create do while loop example. I'll give 5 minutes time to you. Make sure you are going to get the information of do while loop and let me know. Okay. Do while loop program, sample syntax or program. I'll be on mute. If you have any questions, please ask me.
So shall we start?
Yeah, what is that?
Do while is used to execute a block of statements, sir, irrespective of condition that may be true or false.
Okay.
Hmm. Can I say the code, sir?
What is the syntax?
Initialization
Okay.
and do condition
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and the statements
Okay.
and close the bracket
Okay.
and while condition
Okay.
and statements
While condition and statements. Okay. Mm-hmm.
and close the bracket. Open, close the bracket.
Is this the one that you are saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about this increment or decrement? Where it is going to happen?
After while condition, sir.
After while condition or before while condition?
After while condition, sir. I think
Before only, sir.
Update to
while
this
condition.
one. Here, condition validation is not going to happen. Under do,
Before.
it is going to have increment or decrement operator. Okay, and then it is going to validate the while condition and the remaining statements it is going to perform. Right?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So multiple conditions, condition validation is not going to happen here. Under do while loop. So whenever while statement is going to get executed, then the condition validation is going to happen.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let's see one sample program. Okay, initialization, int a is equals to 0. And then we'll start with do. And then inside this, we will have print statement. So I'm going to print value a plus plus. And after this loop, while a, what is the initial value that I have given? 0. I'm going to give a less than or equals to 10 again, condition. If you execute, can see this value starts from 0, condition 10 you have given equals to 10. So it will print the value. Got it? How it works?
Yes,
You
sir.
give greater than.
Sorry, if
You give greater than, sir, what will be the output?
this is what you are talking,
Yes, sir.
nothing will come because the condition initial steps will execute and then remaining will not execute.
Okay.
What is initial value? 0, right? It will enter into the loop and it will print the value and then it will increase to value 1, right? When it comes here, a less than or equals to a greater than 10, the condition failed. It will come out of the program. and then value increase to 1, it will try to print. Initial itself 0 less than or 0 greater than or equals to 10 condition failed. It will not go inside the loop and it will never increment the operator again.
Okay.
Anyone still have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So the same thing for dual loop, sorry, for each loop. So just go for the for loop for each loop and let me know. So now time is 9:22. I'll give 3 minutes. We'll talk about for each loop at 9:25. Got it. What is for each loop?
which is used to read the values from arrays, sir, or collections.
Which is used to read the value of
Values from array or collections.
values from array or collection. Okay. Any other?
When you know exactly how many times you want to loop through block of code, use the for the loop instead of in while loop.
Okay. I understand. Used to read the values from array or collection. That's a correct statement. But what I'm thinking is at this point of time, if we are going to use the concept of arrays, and then again it's no use for you, right? So we haven't discussed arrays yet, but still okay. The answer is correct. What is the second statement that you said? What is the second point, right?
Use for the loop instead of in while loop.
Use for the loop instead of while loop. Okay, how? Okay, I'll let you know. Basically, for each loop, every time it keeps on validating the entire condition what we are going to provide in that particular syntax. Okay, for loop means basically what we are doing, we are initializing the value, it goes for initialization, and then it goes for condition, and it increments or decrements the value. But for each loop, what is going to happen here is whatever the value, whatever the initialization, whatever the array declaration that we have done, whatever the numbers or whatever the type of data that we are passing into that variable, every time it keeps on rotating the entire loop, and it will execute everything, and it will come out of the loop, and it will enter it again. Each and every time it is going to access that particular condition, it is going to validate the data that we are going to have, and it will print the state. So I'll give an example for now, but just keep in mind that you'll be able to understand once we discuss about the concept of arrays only. Otherwise, you may not be able to get this whole concept of for each loop right away. Okay, I'm just writing down the example. Maybe if you have any questions, please log them down, and I'll discuss for your queries when we discuss about arrays. Somehow the declarations and all will be changed when compared to other loops. Just try to understand. If you are not able to, even that should be fine. I'll guide you when we discuss about the concept of arrays. Okay, so the initialization under this main method, I'm going to start with array int. I'm giving the name called array. So array declaration will be like this always. Inside this array, I'm going to give the numbers called 80, 90, 100, 75, 70. I'm going to give some random 5 numbers. After initializing that, int max underscore number, whatever the maximum number that we have in that list. So here I have given 8. Okay, that should be fine. Max number is equals to okay, maximum I'm giving of ARR. I'll define that maximum in the next method. Okay, here I'm going to create a method. Public static void maximum of. So this is the method that I'm going to create as it is an array. Int I'll give the concept of numbers as we are talking about the numbers only. Okay, now it starts with the statement integer num. I can give another name called large number, whatever we have in that array. What is that array? Here we have given numbers of 0, numbers of 0, and then now I'm going to give the for each loop for int a. This is my variable, and here I'm going to give numbers. I'm going to give numbers. This is spell mistake. Okay. Inside the loop, if a greater than large number, this is my condition. Large number is equals to a. So somehow there is a complexity in understanding this one. I'll rectify this when you understand the concept of arrays. Okay, until that, just try to bear this one. Return large. Change the return type of maximum to int. Yes, and then here we need to declare large number. Where we have this one, this is being closed. This is closed. This is closed. This is closed. Okay, what's the issue now? main method లో int arrays ఇచ్చాను. int array ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత ఓకే, let me give this one int array ఇచ్చాను తర్వాత maximum number. Okay, fine. So I need to print the number, right? I'll give the print statement here. This is out. System.out.println. The max number is okay plus max underscore No. Okay, fine. Number I have given. And then we started with this braces. This one closed. Insert to close the body. It closed. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, public static int maximal we have given. Int max so far we have given. Let me give. Okay, int max so far for each loop. We started with this one. Okay, and then if a greater than large number we have given. Yes. And then this one we have closed and this one we have closed. Then what is this again? Complete the class body. This method must result the type int. Int we have declared, and then oh, okay, got it. Here we need to remove. Okay. Sorry, maybe I was a little confused here because of the braces. So we should be very careful. Okay, so if you execute this program, it will find out the maximum number here. So what is the maximum number? How it is going to validate? First, it will capture all the numbers in this array. Whatever the numbers that we have here in this array, it will store that into ARR. And we have created one more variable max num. Into this max num, we are just calculating max of ARR. What is this ARR means? These are the numbers that it is going to have. For this maximum, we have created a method. Inside the method, we need to validate each and every number. Like we need to validate 8 with 90, 8 with 100, 8 with 75, 8 with 70. Which one is the biggest? We need to get it. And then we need to validate 90 with 8, 90 with 100, 90 with 75, 90 with 70. Which one we have? 90. Again, we have to store 90. After 90, we have to validate with 100. After that, we have to validate with 75. After that, we have to validate with 70. That means out of all these validations in this for each loop, it is going to consolidate which number is the biggest number. At the end of the execution, it is going to return this large number. This large number will be stored here, and this will be stored here. And finally, it is going to print the value. The max number is 100. Maybe if you can get the concept of arrays completely, you'll come to know what is array and how it works and how the validation is going to happen internally between one number and another number. For each means each and every number it is going to validate. That's the whole concept here. Right? So maybe next session, we will have the concept of collections only. In that, you'll have the complete picture on array list, linked list, what is hash map, what is hash set. So all these things you'll come to know. Maybe once you get that information, it is easy for you to understand this one. So any questions?
This one is confusing, sir.
Yeah, it will be, because that's what I said. Arrays, until you get the full concept of arrays, you will not be able to understand how the validation is going to happen, how the condition is going to be executed. That's a simple thing, man. So if you go to, for example, for loop, you know how this condition is going to be executed. First, initialization value will be there, and then condition will be there, and then increment or decrement will be there. 3 simple steps it is going to happen in for loop, while loop, and do while loop. But when it comes to for each in the sense, the word itself, each means it is going to validate with each number, whatever you have in that complete memory location. So each number means you will not have only one number here. You'll have multiple numbers. Those multiple numbers will be compared with one another. If it is going to get compared, that means you are going to use for loop. If you have that multiple numbers, even if you want to declare int a is equals to 8, int b is equals to 90, like individual numbers, it won't be possible for you, right? All the numbers should be in a same storage location. That means it should be in an array. How internally this array is going to validate with each number will be the main point of array, correct? You have one-dimensional array, you have multi-dimensional arrays. There are a lot of things. Obviously, it will be a little bit confused. I understand that, but still try to get more information on array if you have time over this weekend. So just go with the concept of arrays. Maybe Monday, you'll get the complete picture on how it works.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone, any questions or anything else that you want to discuss? And the sample programs, again, I'm repeating, over the weekend, you have full time. Make sure you are going to utilize this time very properly. Understand? So make sure you are going to use this time and try to complete it as soon as possible. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a nice weekend. Maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'm not going to take. After Sankranti, I'll take the weekend session because I have a plan to complete by this month. So maybe after Sankranti, I'll take a couple of weekends. Even the session, continuous session will be there. And plan accordingly. Don't skip the last sessions, and you'll have lot of information in that last few sessions. Okay. So maybe Sankranti we may not be available due to that holiday season and all. So we'll have that break during that festival, and after Sankranti, whatever the weekends that we are going to have, I'll use that time and we'll finish it up. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.